Hello, slightly obnoxious Kiwi here, and today we're going to be looking at the Kolek Suneater campaign. We're going to be doing the first 10 to 20 turns just to give you guys an idea of what direction you should go in, who should you aggress upon, and just a way to play the game. This is more or less for new players. We're going to go into depth on how to fight, the best ways to engage your opponents, you know, keeping it as micro-friendly as possible, and then you can just keep practicing. I'll be playing on Legendary very hard, but you'll be able to, you know, bring the difficulty down and copy it all the way until you get to the same difficulty, if that's your goal. But yeah, let's get this big helium and hydrogen eating bastard out of the way. Alright, wait for that hammer drop. Hi, so the plan with this series is to give concise information to you guys about the faction and show some easy ways to get the campaign started on the right foot. I have a tendency to go on tangents though, but I will do my best to avoid doing so. Before we move on, a massive thank you to my Patreons, members and Twitch subscribers. Catch me streaming 6 days a week from 12:30 AM GMT plus 13, that's New Zealand time. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Oh, and we're currently doing a fundraiser for Movember. So if you'd like to donate, you can via the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. Thanks. Oh, and we're over 250 USD raised already. And this sweet mo. Alright, catch you later. Bye. So a few things we're going to go over before we even start the campaign. How I'm going to play through this campaign, and a few of the item restrictions, and some of the stuff that you may want to try and gather early just to help get the game going nice and quickly. Right, so the first thing we're going to go over is an item called a student. We'll go into a bit more detail later, but it's an ancillary that your guy can carry, and it gives you an increase of research rate by 10%. To get them, you have to not be researching a technology when you level up. The best way to do that is to, if you have a technology enabled, disable it before you start a fight. I'll try and remind you before every fight to disable your technology so that you guys, you know, get used to it, because it can be tedious to remember to do it, but it is very helpful with this huge tree to try and get it done as quickly as possible, especially trying to unlock the first gifts for each of the individual gods, because you only start with the undivided one, which you can't access yet because we don't have a settlement. Right, first and foremost, let's get this mage into the army, obviously. And let's have a look at Kholek. Okay, so Kholek has one quest item. That is his hammer, the Star Crusher. It's a good weapon, but you have to do a quest battle to get it. Throughout the campaign, as you play, you are going to get items that you unlock from defeating enemies. To keep it simple, I'm not going to equip anything that I get except for stuff like quest battles that I will show you how to do if we get to that point in this guide. That way, you guys don't have to worry about me having some weird advantage. Same goes for recruiting units. I'm not going to recruit any of the really good stuff that turns up, like trolls, Shaggoth ogres, dragon ogres, and stuff like that, just so that you guys have it a bit easier. But what we will do is we'll grab this. We don't even need that marauder. You'll be fine without it. Right, the first opponent that we fight is the ogres. Don't enable a technology. Let's get into this first battle. Real simple stuff. Auto-resolve says load casualties. Never auto-resolve your first two fights. First of all, you need to be able to do better than auto-resolve can. Normally an auto-resolve will stack all your damage onto one unit, and then that unit becomes useless. So you don't want that. You want to spread your damage across every single one of your units as much as possible. So let's get this underway. Right, realistically, if you can't do better than the auto-resolve in your first couple of fights, then you probably need to reduce the difficulty or practice more. I know it might be hard to hear that, but it will help you in the long run, and that's why I'm going to do this guide where it's a bit, you know, more focused on the combat so people can copy it, the micro and stuff like that. So group your units up into their individual groupings. So ogres have something called ogre charge. It's their most frustrating thing when you're going to be fighting them now, which means you essentially don't want to engage them with units that are smaller than them on the initial charge. Afterwards, it's perfectly fine, but on that initial charge, you want to make sure that you have your large units, such as these two troll units here, tanking the main charge, then followed in by the marauders. Same goes for these Shaggoths, dragon ogres, but we're going to be using them to flank for the most part because they're pretty speedy and helpful, and they're going to do a bit of damage. Same as the dogs, that will also be in charge of flanking. We'll get them and Kholek to go and kill the enemy saber tusks, and yeah, let's get this underway. Right, put the trolls on top of the marauders. These guys are ready to flank. Mage can stand in the back. And what we'll do is we'll shoot up a couple pop shots with our mage here. Any parts where, you know, I'm not talking, I'll fast forward it so you don't have to watch too much of this crap. Bit delayed there, but we did get a kill. So you should usually be able to get a couple of fireballs off before the fight will engage. Normally, later on, you're going to be using much more powerful magic for the opening, but starting with a couple fireballs will reduce their numbers by, 2 kills. That's better than a poke in the eye with a stick, as my mum would say. And once they start charging, we're going to counter-charge with our trolls and our marauders, and then flank with our dragon ogres. The longer they give us, the better it is. We don't want to attack. Don't worry about the Noblars. They have 0 influence on this battle. They're going to get absolutely devoured. Same goes for the Lord. The fireball's not going to do anything substantial to them. So just keep casting fireballs into these ogres and see how many kills you can get.
Yes, kill them.
Here we go. Alright, fight's underway. These guys can go and kill that once it separates itself just a little bit. Just in a group. Charge. Alright. You attack that one. You attack that one. You. Flank. We don't want to send our mage in. He's not that great in melee. He'll do alright, but he's not that great. Now, because the enemy's in front of our own units are in front of us, we'll aim for something else. If you have good line of sight, just shoot straight at the ogres. You just want to keep killing ogres, really. Kholek is good at killing large opponents, but he's not very good at killing single entities. He's not a good duelist. Not yet. Not until he gets his attack power up. So let's get these dogs broken, and we'll back them off. Alright, so we've engaged over here. This is good. Now you want to start flanking. Don't worry about cycle charging. It's only 2 units. It's fine. They're going to be okay. Chase them down. So separating the dogs so that they can come and kill these tusks without getting attacked by the Noblars. And we've won this conflict. So the damage is spread out. At the moment, our trolls are taking a bit of a beating, but we haven't lost a single entity yet, and that's great. So what we'll do is turn all these guys onto him and let the marauders chase the ogres down. They should be able to keep up with them. And we'll grab the other dogs and get them to help out as well. And he can go and kill these Noblars because he'll smash them. So Kholek's really good at running down ogres because he kills them with every hit, which is quite fun to watch. Cool, they're dead. Alright, and we'll just keep fighting this. So what you want to do in every fight, it's a good habit to get into, is just wipe the enemy out down to the last. Oh, we lost quite a few of these guys, so back them out. I didn't notice they were dying that quickly, that's my fault. So yeah, wipe your enemy out to the last unit. It's better for you, you get more money, you get more souls out of it. The only time it doesn't matter if it's in a settlement battle, in which case, if you haven't killed that many units, what you want to do is the opposite. You want to finish the fight as soon as possible so that all the remaining kills get spread amongst all your units and they all get a bit of shared experience. Especially when you're playing Warriors of Chaos, it's quite important. Easy as that. So we did lose a few of our trolls there, but we only lost 5 trolls, so it's hardly the end of the world. 13 casualties, nothing across our other units here. These guys are the ones that we want to hold the line, so it's good that they're not damaged. So now, depending on the damage you took here, you can decide between taking the replenishment, which will give us all our trolls back, or taking the money and the favor. And the souls. We have enough souls, we have enough money at the moment. Normally I would always take the money, but because I was not paying enough attention on those chaos trolls, and we can get them all back, we'll do that. So now our chaos trolls are replenished back to full health, and we can get ready to attack our capital building, the Challenge Stone. Now, as I was saying before, Kolek Suneater is not a very good duelist initially. Once he gets a lot of vassals and he starts having 30,000 weapon strength, he's a great duelist because he one-hits everything. But until then, he can't hit shit. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if he tried. Okay, so what I like to do when I'm playing the Warriors of Chaos is go towards souls. You don't have to necessarily go for souls, but Devoted for Chaos will give us 15% more souls at the end of each battle. And then we can also get another 10% here. So it's 25% increase in souls, which at the beginning is very helpful. Eventually you're going to steamroll souls, but at that point it doesn't matter where you put your points. Other options I would go for potentially would be down the red line to buff up my units, but I think Blue Line's his best choice at the moment. Making him stronger is pointless. You don't need it. Not really. Not with his faction ability being that whenever he vassalizes someone, it empowers him and he gets stronger. So, you know, that's your main damage there. So let's go down Route Marcher and we'll head down to Devoted to Chaos, making our way through. It's also nice to get replenishment, can be good, although they're not too bad. Warriors of Chaos, post-battle loot, and the chance to steal magical items. Lightning Strike if you're feeling it, but I don't necessarily go for Lightning Strike that often. That's kind of useless as well. And then Chaos Untainted. And when we decide how we're going to specialize his army, we can decide what we want to do down the yellow line. That's later on. For the mage, there's two options. You can get a better chance of getting items to drop, magical items to drop, or you can increase the damage to his fireball, eventually unlocking Burning Head. We're going to be facing Chaos Dwarfs initially, so fire magic is pretty so go for scouting, get more items. We got ourselves a brass cleaver, so we'll take that off. No items, make sure no one has anything. No, we're good. Alright, let's get this battle underway. Straight into it. If you're not feeling very confident, you can recruit the marauders that are available from the pool for this fight. They won't help a whole lot, but maybe they'll make you feel better. I don't know. So this is essentially the same battle twice, except this time around there are 4 ogres, so we need to break the charge of 4 different ogres. We have 5 units essentially that are capable of breaking charges. They don't reduce how much damage the charge does, they just prevent how far into a unit the ogres can push, and then they do a lot more damage from there. They can't push these units out of the way, whereas if they charge marauders, they're going to knock them completely backwards, throw them out of formation, and they're going to get murdered real quick. So it's better to absorb the charge with the trolls that regenerate, and your ogres that are very healthy, and your lord, who's also pretty good in combat against stuff like this. You know, low entity count, large units. It's where he excels. But I'm not going to speak this battle. I'm just going to play it. You guys can watch and see if you can, you know, emulate what I'm doing. See if you can think of what I'm trying to think of when I do it. We'll do a little breakdown at the end of the fight. I saw that 9 kills and I was shocked, but I think I hit the Noblars. You can press the space bar to highlight everything and get an idea of where everyone's going. Now, you'll notice I didn't run everything down. Does anyone remember why we didn't run anything down? I feel like a shitty teacher. This is great. So, if it's a settlement battle, you don't have to run shit down. You want to spread the kills amongst the units. So they only lost 160 of their 570 units. So the remaining units that didn't die, 416 units right there. I could have just read that. They will get spread across all the units. So they all get a little bit of experience. And when it comes to Warriors of Chaos, you need experience on your Marauders to level them up. We'll occupy and vassalize. This will vassalize the tribe that is connected to this, which is these guys here. We could also subjugate them and make the trolls the ogres our bitches, but we want this settlement. Cool. We now have a vassal, which means that Kholek has increased his stats by 5%. So he's now 5% stronger in weapon strength and mass and armor. So eventually he's going to have absolutely ludicrous stats, but we'll see how that looks. I think it only applies when he's in combat though. No, maybe not. Alright, doesn't matter. So down devoted to chaos, so we get more experience when fighting the forces of order, which isn't really going to happen considering where we are, except maybe Cathay if we bother going into there. Right. Now, you'll see our first target here, we have a non-aggression treaty with, and if we cancel it, there's 10 turns worth of treachery right there. So we're not going to do that, we're going to wait. Now, to recap turn 1, we're going to build the growth building and the income building on our first settlement and set ourselves to any one of these. It doesn't really matter. Normally I go for corruption first, get up to 100% so we get the control, and then you can switch it over to cost reduction. This one's nice for defensive stuff, and well, that one's good for when you're building. So now to recap, turn 1. Disable technology before going into any battle so you have a chance to get students when you level up. Kolek Suneater is a shit duelist, so don't send him against enemy lords, they'll slap him around. Send him against low entity large units. Or maybe dragons and shit, I don't know, let's test it out when we get there. Once he has enough vassals, he gets the ability to duel purely because he one-hits everything. Initially focus on his blue bar. All his other stats are useless. I feel like buffing Kholek himself up is a waste of time. He's too large for melee defense to really matter because he gets surrounded and he gets hit a lot, and he becomes an absolute monster once he has a lot of vassals underneath him. At 10 vassals he's got a 50% increase, so imagine 20 vassals. You know, the math isn't hard, I'm sure you can figure it out with a calculator. Remember to always fight your first couple of fights. First 10 fights even, make sure you fight them. Unless it's a very clear victory, you know, even then, some of your single entities can get nuked in this game just by pure bad luck. I know on lower difficulties this isn't true, but you should fight your fights anyway because you need to get used to fighting them if you want to advance in this game and get better. If you just want to have fun, then just fuck around. It's a single player game. Have the time of your life. No one can tell you what to do. Pretty sure that's everything I can think of right now. We need to make sure we finish off the ogres, and then we will head over, kill these greenskins so they don't become an issue, and then I think we'll focus on the Chaos Dwarfs. I think the end of this little introduction to Kolek Suneater, we're going to have taken the Chaos Dwarfs and vassalized them, taken all the Dark Fortresses, which is our target, I'll talk about that at the beginning of the next turn, and vassalize the village over here. Sorry, not vassalize, Confederate village over there. So, now we can start our technology. We didn't get any students, but that's okay. Oh, I should do a quick introduction to the Gift of the Gods. These are the gifts of the gods. I'm going to grab the Furies of Chaos initially because they're good for taking care of archers and towers. But then 99% of the time, the one you're going to have active is the Ruinous Bulwark. It makes it so you can attack any settlement with any army. You don't have to worry about walls. Like, you'll smash through them with the ability. And you get a flat 15% missile resistance, which is really nice. The casualty replenishment rate is okay. Melee attack on marauders is a bit of a waste of time. It's like giving a sponge a weapon. What's going to happen? Something you can do to prevent upkeep. We've already gotten the Furies that it summons. You can remove the gift immediately. And then you've only paid the 500 upkeep and you don't have to pay the 500. The 50 for maintaining them. And if you have a look in gifted units, you can now see that we have 1 unit Chaos Furies and our 1 Hell Cannon that we start with, which we will be recruiting, do not worry, we get to have some fun with that later, but there's no point in recruiting it at the end of your turn. You'll pay for a turn of upkeep on a faction that doesn't take time to recruit. Let's get this turn finished. Oh, while we're doing this end screen, I'll show you a quick introduction on how to deal with the camera. So if you pause this, the camera settings will pop up. You could also just click on this camera setting option here. And what I like to do to set it up is go to Allied Factions, set the animation speed to fastest for their lords, off for their heroes, enemy factions, fastest, and then neutral factions, fastest, and off. That way you don't have to worry about the camera jumping all across the map or wasting time watching stuff that you just don't care about. But then you can also keep it on normal speed and monitor your enemies and make sure nothing bad happens. Now it's going to be a bit of a cheat guide almost. You can't see them yet, but there are ogres right here. So what we're going to do is move forwards. Before we get into position, we're going to hit the backspace key so that our Kholek stops moving. We can see them here. This is their camp. It's good for us because it means we can also head over and start taking out these green skins, where if you put your cursor over their control details, you see their military presence of 7. That means that they have 14 units because it is spread across two settlements. If they had 3 and it still said 7, it would mean that they had 21 units currently garrisoned within those settlements. It doesn't include units that are standing outside, so you do need to be wary that there can always be more. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab this Hell Cannon, and we're not going to grab the Furies yet, we don't need them. And I'm going to grab the Marauders. As you can see, we got some more Trolls available. If you can, get them, they're great. Another great unit is Aspiring Champions, they're very powerful. I'm going to assume that these don't exist for everyone right now, so I'm not going to get them, but maybe in a few turns we'll pick them up, because then by then I can be confident that they exist. And let's attack this settlement. Remember to turn off your technology and get this underway. Turn off your technology before you start the fight. I always forget, that's why I said I'd remind you. Turn off your technology. Right, as you can see there, I took the cannon off fire at will and I put it in defensive position in case I do give it an option to charge, attack something. If they move out of their range, it's not going to chase after them and run into combat, which is a bit of a concern. But I'm going to show you something cool that you can do with the Hell Cannons and a few other pieces of artillery. That's always fun to do when you're doing sieges like this. We're going to get our anti-large units and send them in. Our concern here is that they have a couple of invisible units in there. They're going to do a fair bit of damage. Right, what we do is you press the insert key on your keyboard, and then you can fire the artillery manually. And you can move it around because it's a Hell Cannon. Bring it in and kill some Noblars. Woo! Wait for it to reload and just do it again. You can go for some cool shots, see how far you can travel. Go over the top of the ivory there. Hello, Noblars. That's great. I'm not concerned about these guys. They're probably going to take very little damage, if any. So we'll just leave them in there. If we want, we can try and send an assistance shot in there. Probably hit one of my ogres. You can damage your own units, so yeah, it's not the smartest thing you can do. But it's fun. You get really good at aiming this. Takes a little bit of practice. It has a limited range. Eventually it kind of like loses all its momentum and stops firing. But it's good fun to have a tutu around with. It's also the most efficient way to use ammunition on an artillery piece. Because you can, by pressing the page up key, switch between other artillery pieces. If you have 4 on the... If I had 4 Hell Cannons here, I'd be able to switch between them by pressing page up, page down. Alright, let's get out of there and have a look at how things are going. Right, so we lost a Dragon Ogre, which is a little bit oopsie. We'll bring these boys in to help break the backs. So these are the invisible units here. These are called Gorges. They're unbreakable. So we basically need Kholek to kill them. Well, these guys all, you know, move through. Kholek, and as I said, he's really good at killing stuff like this. We'll leave that up to him. This is more or less just a slog, this fight. It's not a challenge. He's dealing with them, and I think we can just go back to firing the cannon if we want. Let's try and hit their lord in the back there. Let's see what happens. We got the slow reload animation. This happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get the short stick. Oh, it feels like it doesn't have enough oomph to get all the way over there. Oh, I was wrong. Maybe. Haha. So pointless, but it's good fun. You can do a lot of damage on artillery like that. You get in those gorges. They had 2 Gorgie units, so there's another one here somewhere. But we should be able to beat it quite comfortably. Anti-large Dragon Ogres are pretty good for that kind of stuff. Let's speed this up. We're more or less done. Staying together. Let's cap this point. Get rid of any towers they have. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a duel here. Use the shift key, you can select multiple units in a line. It's a bit like if you're using a Word document. Control key does individual ones. Control A if you want to select everyone. Control C if you want to select cavalry. What is that? No, it is cav. So none of this is considered cav. Infantry, control I. So everyone's considered infantry. Artillery is control A. so on and so forth.
Kolek Suneater I.
Look at those gorges, buddy. So what we could do is send our dogs around the back to go and cap all these points. A couple of Noblars aren't going to do anything to them. It's a bit of a slogfest going on here. It's just going to keep happening. We're lucky we'll get a couple of good shots in with the artillery to help break these Noblars, but we'll see what happens. You can never be too sure. Kholek's doing a kind of shit job against all of these gorges, sorry. He's getting hit by these Noblars quite a bit. They're just getting in the way, so he's not attacking them. And they've done 1900 damage, but he'll be fine. Back off from there. I'll speed it up. There we go. We won. And it's a camp, so we can just end it. Grabbing that replenishment, get our units all the way back to full health, and then we have to start making our way towards all these green skins. They will attack us if we stay in this position. There's enough of them. They have a giant and a few other scary things. Let's quickly have a look at the mage, and I'll explain how the spells on a fire mage work and what you kind of want to go for. You have your basic fireball, which is your entry into the magic list, and that's pretty much the only time you're going to use it. Kindle Flame is a passive ability that gives your enemies, whenever you cast the entire map wide, your enemies get a weakness to fire damage, so increases all fire damage by 20%. You have an ability here called Burning Head. It's basically a skull that lights on fire and goes in a very wonky line, moving through all the enemies. Anyone without armor gets absolutely deleted, including your own units, and anyone with armor does not feel it. You have Evasion, which is the skill that you use to get into the next side of the tree. Piercing Bolts of Burning. It's an amazing spell for taking out cavalry. It will completely wipe out a cav unit if you can get to land directly on top of it. Very powerful for that. Flamestorm. Great when you're doing settlement battles, putting it on top of barriers, and also very good for taking out enemies. Has high armor piercer damage and very high damage overall. One of the most powerful vortex spells, if not the most powerful vortex spell in the game, just as a standard cast. Magical Reserves is good for capacity, so you can cast more magic, and Arcane Conduit to get your spells any earlier. Anything else that I didn't say there, don't bother getting it. You don't need to. You can put 3 points there, 1 point there until Evasion, and then get completely out of this area. These are buffing spells, and they're average. Don't worry, don't bother with them. Magical Attack is great, but you're going to have Magical Attack anyway, so don't worry about it. There's also the Path to Glory, which your mage will unlock at level 5, and so will your lords, excluding your legendary lord, but it's only the mages. Basically, you have 3 boons of chaos here that are random, and when you do, if you do decide to follow a Path of Glory and do your Mark of Chaos, they will change, even if you have them unlocked. An easy one is this one here, at the end of your turn. End your turn with 80 Winds of Magic, and you'll get Penungial Pendulum for free. Not overcast, but still a nice bit of damage. You have the choice to become a Tzeentchian Mage, a Chaos Sorcerer of Tzeentch, which will give you Tzeentchian Magic and a barrier, and a few other bits and pieces, like a different War Shrine. You have the option to become a Slaaneshi Mage, which will give you Slaanesh spells. A very strong spell here is Slicing Shards, also very good for wiping out units in Cav. Very powerful spell, underrated, but it's really the only decent spell in this book. The other ones are okay, but they're kind of average. And then you've got Metal, Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, which will make you into a Metal Mage and change all this as well. You can just recruit Metal Mages, so I don't know why you'd ever do this, but I guess it's an option. I guess it gives you a barrier because you become Tzeentchian, but oh well. At the moment, we got an Undivided Mage, and yeah, he's fine as he is. So put a skill point into Magic, into Fireball, making our way up the Burning Head line. Let's switch our stance over to this. If we can get ourselves over 80 wins, that'd be nice. So it's going to get us to 75, and then we'll unlock Penungial Pendulum for free. And the enemy can almost certainly reach us, so what we'll do is we'll move as close as we can, and we'll go from there. If you want and you're feeling a bit threatened, you can get the Summoners of Rage, the Dragon Ogres. They'll help you out, and they come with a pretty handy spell here called Chain Lightning. The only problem is they're quite pricey. You don't need money right now, and you make a lot of money from fighting, but you know, it's up to you. So we'll pick them up. just assuming everyone else has, and we'll go from there. As you can see here, as I suspected, the green skins did attack us. So we have two options here. One, we can fight this fight, looking at the terrain by pressing this button here. There's some nice defensive positions where we could, you know, hole up with our marauders and try and kill them with our artillery. The only downside is they have a lot of archers. And they have a giant. Giants are very good at wiping out single entities. So every time he swings at those dragon ogres, he'll kill one. Same as a lord, he'll take him out in a couple of hits and he'll definitely kill the mage. What we're going to do is we're going to retreat. So something quite surprising here. If they're in camp stance, you can't move through them. So we unfortunately can't attack the enemy that we wanted to attack there. But we are going to fight them anyway. Make sure if you're playing on lower difficulty, save before you fight. But let's get into it. If it's an option, you always want to be the aggressor. So the concerns here are the enemy archers. If we don't get rid of them quickly, their damage will pile up, and the giant, he's a bastard, but we'll be fine. Their reinforcements are going to be very slow, so we're going to have to use that to our advantage. What we're going to do is we're going to set up back over here. Nice defensive position, so our marauders can hold the line as long as possible. Sometimes you get little issues like that. You can hold down the Alt key and drag them as close as possible. Looks like that's as close as they're going to go. Pull the marauders up. Doggos can go over here. We're going to want to use them to flank. Same as the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths, but for now they're just going to have to be frontline. Same goes for these Trolls. They're going to be frontline. Trolls make great frontline just due to their regeneration. And we'll put 2 Shaggoths in here. 1 for flanking the Lord himself. And a Fire Mage to stand right here and shoot fireballs at stuff. Fortunately, we're not within range, but they are most likely going to be aggressive once their allies turn up. So what we could do is bring everyone forwards just a smidge. We need to be very careful of their overwhelming numbers of melee units, because they will beat the snot out of us if they are given the chance. We want to get a couple shots on this giant as the plan here with this artillery piece. Right, let's get this underway. Alright, they're coming at us now. I'm pretty confident with the damage we managed to do. There's a couple of volleys there. Let's bring this artillery piece back. Bring the mage over as well. Actually, let's couple fireballs off. I pulled the line back because it's easier to be back here with the line than it is to do it the other way around. So concerns are the boar boys. The wolf riders are nothing. But let's get this guy out here. And get these lads moving. This might be quite intense for a first fight, and I do apologize for that, but there's nothing we can do about it. You're just gonna have to keep practicing until you get it right. Go boys, go! We want to get rid of these boar boys if we can. And start dealing with all this other crap. Fire back at him. Again, I still consider that giant our biggest threat here. The archers are dangerous and they're going to do a fair bit of damage, but we should be fine. Especially if we can pull a couple units through once these guys are all engaged. Poor pooches. You can do it, they're just wolves. There we go. Nice. All right, backing off. We do want to run them down, but we need to come shut these archers down, so The Dragon Ogre's done a great job against those boar boys. As you would expect, they are anti-large, and now we need to deal with this bastard. Some of my marauders broke. It's these archers, they're doing a lot of damage. But now they're in trouble. Now we got our dogs on them. Should be good. Let's go. Dogs should be able to do a decent amount of damage before they break. Breaking at full health is fine. Lightning strike here. Get some easy kills. Excuse you. Get that. Thank you. All that stuff is terror routing. Terror routing's fine. Terror routing's not permanent. Good charge there. Nice. They are shattered. And there's less than 10% of the units left, so they're dead. Coming back. Good. You can, if you like, get into this and fire it right at point blank range. But on this hill, it might be a bit hard to dive down. Stop firing straight away because there's a cooldown between shots. And it must have just shot. You can still do it if you're feeling like you want to stretch your wrist a little bit. Alright, have we gotten this damn giant down yet? No. Yeah, he's dangerous. Look how many kills he's gotten. He's a serious issue. That's alright. Let's go. Start running these down. These archers are almost done, but you want to leave them at 10%. 10% means they're dead. Alright, let's go. I'll finish off the rest of these boys. Nice. And you can fire at that. Perfect. Dragon Ogres are going to smash Trolls. Trolls have regeneration, but it's hardly the end of the world. Cool. Yep, we won this pretty comfortably, I would say. Bring all these Dragon Ogres out now and use them to fight. Will be beneficial to us. And reform the line with the melee units and the wood. Listen, 10. Let's go. Cycle charge them. Nice. Alright, how many of these boys left? Heaps of gobos left, unfortunately. Just trying to cancel it. Spacebar, sorry, backspace is a good way to cancel commands on them. Place those gobos down. Let's go, go, go. Turn around. Help the Shaggoths catch up. Dragon Ogres, sorry, they're not Shaggoths. Shaggoths are much larger. But yeah, I learned something I genuinely had no idea about today. If they're in camp stance, they're essentially a settlement. You can't go through them. Normally you'd go through a unit, and what I would have done was attack the reinforcing army, and then I would have set my army up against the wall where the enemy's big army was going to be coming in, and we would have killed them that way. Would have been much more efficient. We killed the giant. Yep, he's dead. Wonderful. Probably would have taken no losses, and it would have been great. Well, not no, but a lot less. It's alright. Not a problem. Target those archers, please.
Check him out.
We're just trying to push through these archers. Man, we absolutely just launched that lord. That was excellent. Let's go. They're about to break. Leadership's collapsing. Leadership's that white bar underneath their health bar there. Cool. Victory's out. So this other army's on force march, so we don't need to wipe it out. We do need to make sure we wipe out the initial armies. So dogs, chase that please. Dogs, chase that please. You guys can go beat that lord up just for shits and giggles. And you can hit fast forward. If you're lucky, you'll get a crown called the Crown of Ever Conquest, I think, or something along those lines. And it's basically, it is a regeneration item. It's great. Chuck it on Kholek, make him have 75% more health. Very helpful. He's got a large health pool as it is. He's got about like 9,000 health, yeah. So add 75% to that and you'll be a very happy camper. Alright, we're done. A close victory, much better than their lose all your army result that they offered. Those new ogres are very helpful, so I strongly recommend you get them. And the giant did a lot of damage, but that's okay. He was mostly killing, you know, marauders, but he also did a lot of single entity damage. But we won, that's good. So now we've broken the back of the enemy. What we can do is we can take the money in the favor. So we got 2,000 just for that fight, plus another 672 and some souls. Souls are very, very important, so get as many of those as you can get your greasy little fingers on. And our mage got to level 5. So everyone got a couple of levels out of that, which is nice. What we'll go for is grab the recruitment reduction, 5% is nice, and then all the upgrades will be better later on. And our mage can get Burning Head, which will make them a lot better against goblins. Right, now this is our first fight that I think we comfortably auto-resolve. 93 goblins versus all of our stuff. And we lost 0 units, that's nice. We even got an item out of it, isn't that cool? And we'll grab the 2%, why not? There wouldn't have been that many souls in there. Take that off. Make sure our mage has nothing on. Good. We're going to head this direction first. We might end up selling the land to Grimgor, I think. So a good way to check if you can reach next turn is to drag the line. So see how our blue line starts just where that settlement is? We should be able to reach it next turn just fine, even staying in the stance. We want to be in the stance because we want to get as much wins as possible, so we can get that free Penungial Pendulum. Nothing to be done here. We haven't got enough growth to move up. And we didn't get any students because I didn't turn off my technology. Remember to turn off your technology. I misclicked it when I went to do it, but that's okay. Checking diplomacy. We can get trade with our vassal. That's nice for the extra money. Keep saving up that money because I promise you are going to spend it. Alright. Grimgor's pretty close to an agreement, so that's good. Path to Glory is available. We're not going to spend money on this yet, but I would recommend this Slanesh one is nice. They're all nice. Anyone where you can get the ability, Soul Feeder allows your mage to heal passively, which is quite nice. And Slanesh mages are Mortis engines as well, which is not bad. Paragon of Change, Fires of Change, sorry, damage resistance. If he did get Paragon of Change, this would be a very easy decision, but he doesn't. Okay, we're a little bit damaged, but that's fine. If you want, you can recruit a few more units. But let's keep moving. We'll disable that for now. I'll leave that up to you. You can make the decision yourself what kind of mage you want to play with. It's mostly personal preference. Moving on. I'm going to spend the next couple turns just taking these 2 settlements. They're simple fights, same way you'd normally fight it. If you ever get this map though and you're outnumbered, a great place to camp, be wary of artillery, is right here. You can put all your units in this position, like these dogs are. They can hold the line great. You can have artillery behind and have mages doing damage. It's an excellent place to go. And then you move your heavy hitters out, you squeeze them past and get them to fire into the back of the line. Really, really, really good place to fight. We're not going to be needing these dogs this fight. They're a bit too damaged, I think, to be of any use. So we'll just hide them in the trees where they're nice and safe. And yeah, I'll bring you back once we're up to the next stage of this campaign. Sorry, I lied a little bit. There is a little strategy that I'm using this time that I don't use, well, I haven't used yet, which is hiding some melee units. Hide them in the trees. Once the enemy is engaged and the melee lines have engaged, the archers have been shooting for a little while, then you charge them out and you go and crumple the archers. And then you can recharge as much as you like. Feel free to try out your new magic. This is Burning Head. It goes forever. It's super inaccurate, but it's a great spell at the beginning. There's a lot of damage to unarmored units such as goblins. It used to go in a much straighter line, but now look at that. That curve is ridiculous. It used to go in a relatively straight line. Now I'm burning my own units with it. Of course, now it decides to go completely straight. Have fun with it. It's good fun. It's a fun spell to use. It's just it can be a bit of a bitch. Got little tidbits. I feel like I stopped too early. So the good thing about a hell cannon is that it can shoot right over your melee line and hit the enemy. So it can arc its shots over that, which is pretty rare for artillery. Artillery generally suffers from line of sight, but not hell cannons. So you can have a good melee line and just bomb straight over the top of it non-stop, and it's really good. So I recommend getting used to it, trying it out, and you'll have a much easier time with your artillery not being shit. So looking at technology, we're going to be heading towards culling the weak initially. Get that extra 20%, and then I recommend you just go for all of the individual gods gifts. Get one of each. They're pretty handy and they can do a lot. To get there, it doesn't really matter what direction you go. Just click on one and let it happen. But remember, you have to cancel your technologies. So it is better to do one at a time, I find. This is the second settlement fight for the greenskins. What I recommend is just come into this corner here. That's a great place to defend. You'll be able to hold it all day long. You'll be fine. They're not going to come at us. So what you want to do is grab your fire mage, head up, activate them with a burning head, and then just run back. Our guys here are ready to flank, and we've got some dogs as well over here that can do something if they need to. Up to you where you want to put the burning head. We also have our Penundral Pendulum. You guys might not have that, so you know, we'll see what happens. But I like to put it on the archers, or in this situation, we'll put it on the gobos just because there's so many of them. We can do so much extra damage. Defeated their final settlement, and what we're going to do is we're going to subjugate them. We want them as a vassal, because the more vassals we have, the stronger we are. And then with the other settlement that I still currently have, we're going to sell it to Ringborn. And then we'll be able to buy ourselves a non-aggression. Done. Now we don't have to worry about him just now. He's very fighty, so he's going to head south. He's going to fight as much as he can. And we're going to head out towards the Chaos Dwarfs here. So we can just force march over. Underway. Kholek is now getting pretty close to his abilities. At rank 9 he gets Lord of the Storm. Great ability. Really good for killing stuff. Storm Rage is pretty good as well. Gives Tempest Rage to him. And then a bunch of buffs to his other dragons. But now we can grab this bite. Right, now this is going to be the last time we have a chance to do diplomacy for quite a while. There won't be any, but have a look. Yeah, no, nothing to do. Excellent. Okay, so you should have, you know, at least a Chaos Troll by now, and if you're lucky, you'll have an Aspiring Champion. If you do, grab one of each. Grab all the big stuff, you know. Don't get Chaos Spawn, they're a bit of a waste, but the Trolls are nice with the regen, and Aspiring Champions essentially cannot die. So pick up one of them. 17 units, this should be a piece of cake. Alright. Now, we're Warriors of Chaos, so we don't actually get alliances. We vassalize everyone. So, fuck reliability, we're going to war. Our allies have to join us. Reliability is very low now, but that's okay. He's strength rank 14. The problem is he has a Dark Fortress site. Dark Fortress sites are the only settlements that the Warriors of Chaos occupy. You give everything else away. You give it to your vassals, and you sell it for, you know, favors. That's it. Everything else goes except for Dark Fortresses. If your vassals own it, you can get your benefits. You can get your commandments, your regional commandments. So, you know, just give them away, sell them, and don't worry about your reliability. Yeah, people are going to declare war on you, but that's okay, because you're going to declare war on them anyway, because you want them as your vassal. You want everyone as your vassal. The only problem only reason why we didn't go for Grimgor is that he is spread so far south already. Chasing him down would have been a bitch, and it would have pulled us way away from any real income. Our only income comes from these settlements, so we need to get as many of them as possible. Vassals give you a little bit of money, but as you can see here, they're giving me 101 gold per turn. It's fucking nothing. So let's go with the money here. Oh, excuse me, I misclicked. And I like to get the mage building because it increases the favor from all buildings in the local region by 30%. So this will go up by 30%, which is, you know, a pretty healthy amount of money. Alright, let's go to war. Hello, Granite Spires. Now, Chaos Dwarfs play a lot differently to Greenskins. Your big threats when you're facing the Chaos Dwarfs are these Fire Archers, quite dangerous, and Blunderbuss. If there's a Blunderbuss unit, it has to go. It has to go first. Don't charge it with your large units. It will delete you. Flank it. That's your only option. You've got to get rid of it before it gets even close to your line, because as soon as it starts firing, you start losing units very, very quickly. But more on that when we get there. So in my campaign, I moved up a little bit, and luckily for us, the AI have put an army inside the settlement. That's great for us, because settlement battles like this are an absolute cakewalk. The amount of enemies that you face is not relevant to how you're going to win. So what we're going to do is we're going to get nice and close in ambush stance so that we can absolutely attack it next turn, and then we'll wipe them out. We're also going to go into our Gifts of the Gods, and we're going to enable the Ruiner's Bulwark. We haven't had it enabled this whole time, so let's chuck it on, and you'll see why in the next fight. As you can see here, the enemy have a terrifying army of orc laborers, and they have some blunderbuss, so that's the one that we're going to be concerned about. But sieging as Warriors of Chaos is so easy as long as you have a fast unit. All you need is a little bit of speed and you're going to win. So let's get this underway. This is the layout of the settlement. Our goal is to get down this direction and this direction to this cap point, but we need to draw the enemy army away from them, and what we'll do is we'll deploy in range of the walls here so that they think we're going to attack here. And they'll essentially fire all their shots at our mage, who will be tanking it all whilst we hide in the trees, and then back off, as I'll show you right now. So we don't want to put the artillery close because it's going to get shot otherwise. Right on the edge of its range means it's outranging the turrets, but they're still able to shoot at it. Put our mage right at the front, and all of our melee right behind it. We get our fast units, and they go and hide in these trees right here. Nice and hidden. Take the dogs as well, although kind of dangerous to take the dogs. We'll put Kholek over here. We're going to get him to pull some units over as well, so he can stand with the group. And then we start the fight. First thing we do is retreat into range of the artillery and send Kholek over here. Oh, you're very fast, so make sure you don't get the horse ahead of these units, because these towers, well, they're only the armor-piercing ones, but the Chaos Dwarfs have a fireball tower, and it is fucking disgusting how much damage it does. The tower, you just aim at that, that's fine. So all of their units are here. There's a massive amount of orcs on the other side of this wall, but that's okay. Everyone's safe? Yeah, more or less. Once they get out of that zone of influence, then we can pop this guy back, send Kholek over to here, and then start the charge with these lads. Right, let's go. This is why we save this ability here. It's a great ability. Basically, as soon as they get close to the wall, you can also use it on barricades. You can blow stuff up. Put it right on top of the wall. And let's go. We're in. Kholek's going to go to the store, and he's going to do the exact same thing, just go in the other direction. I'll bring you back if there's any complications, but otherwise we should all be sitting on this cap, winning next time this camera comes in. Well, let's see. I haven't set the mage for good measure, but we made it. No conflict. When you're setting these guys up, make sure you click a lot. They get stuck on each other, and they get a bit derpy, so you need to make sure you get everyone moving together. But yep, we got the whole team here. The mage for the firepower, Kholek for tanking, more Dragon Ogre Shaggers for tanking. And yeah, hopefully we can win before we get too many shots fired upon us. The blunderbusts are a real concern, and I think they're way back here somewhere. Yeah, there they are. They're not going to be a problem in this fight. They're too slow. Dwarves are very slow.
Chaos is magic.
Because they're short. Right. I'll bring you back if anything interesting happens. Otherwise, we're just going to try and, you know, keep everything away from this point. If they touch this point, we stop getting points, and then we don't win. So we don't want that to happen, because if they do stop us, they're going to overwhelm. Overwhelm us completely, and there's nothing we can do about that. Right. As you can see, we had a very close victory there. I believe we lost a total of 0 units. Yep, that's right. And they lost many units. Yep, 4,000 and what's that? Like 4,122. That's a lot of units. So that's going to be spread across all our units too. So they're going to get a bunch of experience, which is nice. That's why you end the fight as quick as possible. With us only killing 166 units there, the rest of the kills will be spread out across everyone else, as you can see here, and they got some experience, which is good. Vital stuff. Occupy the settlement. Don't sack it. You want the money, and the buildings that can be put into it are ones that you're going to get anyway. Building the money building first, and then growth. So now we do need to be wary, because there's a military presence of 10 right there, and we know that he's spread out into the territory. So if you double click on him, you can see that he currently has 3 settlements. So he has this one, he has this one, he has this one, and probably this one here, although it doesn't look like he owns that one yet. That's 3, never mind, he has these 3. So he's probably in this last settlement, which is a dark fortress, which is what we're after. But we knocked his strength ranking down a couple of pegs there, which is good. And now we have some more territory. Again, we're going to be selling this, but we're going to be giving it back to them, because they're going to be our vassals. The only thing they're not going to get is this dark fortress site. So we do need to try and get them a tier 5 settlement, because Chaos Dwarfs have the best artillery, and it's the most fun. So you want to try and give them that artillery as soon as possible. Now, we're currently level 11. If we wanted to, we could save up our points, which we currently have 2 of. So next level we'll have a total of 3 points, and we'll be able to spend them on unlocking his skills straight away. So we get demonic trait, which basically means you just don't like die to leadership. You can't break. You do die, you just die instead of breaking. It's just, that's all. Campaign movement range increase, which is nice, and the casualty replenishment rate there. The dazed is pretty good as well for himself, and charge bonus for Shaggoths, that's average. Don't worry about that, and don't worry about that. So these are the only 2 that I would even bother getting, although you have to get 3 if you want to get some. No, you have to get all of them if you want to get Suneater. But we could get 1, 2, 3, or we could grab double blessed by evil and get more loot, and then eventually get this. But yeah, his skills suck. This is a very good ability. This is a good ability as well, but otherwise they're pretty average. So don't invest too much in Kholek's damage itself. As you can see right now, he's already up to 105 armor. He's got 595 weapon strength, and once he gets his weapon as well, he'll be even more powerful. I'll make sure to do a little guide of that at the end of this tutorial, so you can see what the fight is like. And yeah, we've got 2 vassals so far, so there's an additional 10%. Alright, let's carry on. A great way to move up if you're unsure what you're facing is an ambush stance. Also, if you see rogue armies or beastmen such as this, make sure you kill them straight away before they become an issue. They will always turn on you, I promise. It's a matter of time, they will turn on you. So just kill them straight away. Savage orcs, delete them straight away. Rogue armies, absolutely, they spread so quickly, and these guys as well. They don't spread as quickly as rogue armies or greenskins, but you do need to get rid of them as quickly as possible. It's an easy fight. These Cygors will throw their rocks at anything, so you can just ammo waste them, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. You'll be able to completely smush it. So looking at the settlement, we know that there's an army of 10 units in there, so it's unlikely to be the main lord, but he also might have come over. So let's sneak over a little, get a bit of scouting done. Yep, it's just him. Excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to come out of our ambush stance and attack him here. So it's just a bunch of hobgoblins. Would be an easy one for us there. Alright, let's get this immediately underway. Sorry, this is the second day of recording here, so I'm just rebooting my memory of what's happening. Right, so we know the order of threat. Blunderbuss the biggest threat, followed by these archers. The mage has pretty average spells. He doesn't have his main Dark Ash spell, which increases fire damage, so we're fine. He does cause flammable though. Alright, let's get in there. Pretty straightforward fight. I'll mute it and fast forward it so you guys can watch the whole fight in case you have any questions, but we can either decide to try and cap everything. You generally will struggle to cap everything, especially when they have this many archers, but it does pull the enemies away a little bit, which is nice. Or just focus on killing their archers and win the fight. Try not to get in trouble with the blunderbuss and use our fire magic as often as possible to kill as many of the archers as possible because they have no armor. As you can see, they're on this one. There they are. So Hobgoblin archers again, blunderbuss over here, so that's the one we're concerned about. But our fire mage should be able to clean them up pretty nicely. Alright, I'll speed this up.
Attacks. Are moving fast. They're doing tons. Move it quickly. Yes. When I watch you whisper. Chaos is magic. Yes, kill him.
You'll notice in there that I cast my spells directly on the barriers. What you want to do is basically push it up right against the edge of the barrier where it clips, just before it clips down off the barrier, but it's still on the barrier. That way it'll run across the top of the barrier for as long as possible before dropping down, and it'll do optimal damage. For example, we killed 80 of those just then with that cast. Our mage took a bit of a beating because I accidentally got stuck in a bit of combat that he shouldn't have been in, but yeah, there we go. Very little damage, spread nicely across the dragon ogres. Continuing our occupation. So we've more or less got one fight left to go. It could potentially be a settlement battle. Sorry, 2 fights left to go. We've got the Bloodwind Keep and we've got the Iron Storm here. So if you look at that, there's currently no army in there, so they're either attacking something at the moment, which is entirely possible, although they're not at war, so maybe not. Go ahead. You should always check your opponents through this. So we know at the moment they're at war with the Tusk's Sons and the Dolgan, because those are both our vassals. So he is probably standing outside the settlement or on his way over to where we are right now. He has 2 settlements remaining, these 2 settlements here. We know we're stronger than him, and our reliability is only low now, not very low, which is nice, so that's improving. Now we've got a bunch of items there, I'll make sure to take them all off. Cool.
The mountains call.
One thing you should always remember to do is combine items. Get rid of the stuff you don't need, all the crap that exists that you just have no use for. We might be facing rats, but not with this army, so we'll go Lightning Strike. Chaos Unchained. And now we can start working on our red line or our Lord line here. Both with investing into, same as Storm Rage, which I think will be our next point. Our mage is pretty much done. The other things you're going to want to do is, depending on if you did Path of Glory, the rest of it's up to you really. These are the only things I strongly suggest are Pointing into Flame, 3 in Burning Head. Max out these 2 just to make them cheaper because you do use them a lot. Magical Reserves and Arcane Conduit. Magical Reserves gives you 5 wins. 5 more wins of magic power reserve. So instead of having 100 reserves in a fight, you'll have 105, which is quite nice. You actually get a bit more than that, but depends on your luck when you do the rolling of the dice. So as you can see here, normally I wouldn't get it first, normally I max them out before I got that, but it's now increased us to a maximum total of 105 as opposed to our 100 that we had. Okay, so these guys are going to probably attack us next turn. So we have 2 options here. We can step out of the settlement, which will help us because it means that if they do attack us, we can retreat if their army outpowers us quite substantially, or we can stay in the settlement. Either way, we're going to have the garrison's assistance. The garrison is really rubbish, but it's a good way to deny reinforcements and make our opponent weaker. He's currently strength rank 77, so he's weaker than us, so he's only got 1 stack. Well, he's stronger than us, but like, as in he's only got 1 stack. He doesn't have 2 stacks of armies. Okay. I think we can end this turn. Kick the settlements, and then, yeah, move on. So as you can see here, I can't quite reach. You might get an item that helps with movement range, which would be great. So if you can reach this, you should make the attack. But because I can't reach, what we'll do is we'll do the tried and true slow move up and ambush stance. Alright, so Zartan the Black is there. There are some good things that we could recruit, and I'd recommend Giants are good for killing single targets. They're pretty, well, maybe not single targets, but they're good for killing, like, same stuff that Kholek is good at killing. Always get your hands on aspiring champions. They're essentially the doom stack of chaos. And don't ever get feral manticores because they have this ability here, and it's the worst ability in the game, and it's horrible. Basically, you lose control of your unit, and that's clearly just a waste of time. So we could get some more dragon shaggoths, dragon ogres. It would make it easier for me, but as I said, we're doing a bare bones, so it's as easy to copy as possible. He's got a banner of swiftness. We want that. That's my favorite banner in the game. It's good shit. Alright. Check diplomacy. No one's going to do any diplomacy with us because we're unreliable. But as I said, we are vassalizers, not ally makers. We force our allies to be our friends. Alright, moving on. So clearly I got very lucky here. Our ambush was successful. We could auto-resolve it. I would recommend you do. There's no reason not to. There is a cheese that you can do that I could show you. Well, I'll just tell you about it. Basically, more often than not, especially if you're more powerful than the enemy, and sometimes if you're weaker than them, if you ambush, as long as you don't move your units, they stay invisible for quite a long time. I will. No, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to auto resolve this. So they're going to get wiped out anyway. Fuck it, I'll show you. All right. Excuse me for being a bit uncertain there. But because we overpower them, they are going to try and leave the field as soon as possible. So what you want to do is let them do that. And because they're on force march, their army will be deleted off the face of the earth. The only problem is you don't get any experience. If you engage them, they will fight. Well, they might keep trying to run, but they will also try to fight. But you'd hide behind a cliff, for example, right here, and let them just walk to this exit point. Once they reach it, they'll run off the map and they will die. So if you're ever in an ambush situation and like you have no chance of winning, but you're screwed if you don't try and fight it, you can try fighting it and see if they will leave. Sometimes they'll leave with some units, sometimes they won't. Just hide off to the corner. If you got an invisible mage, you can put them right here, and the enemy will actually walk over here and just form a giant pile sometimes. Sometimes they'll form up horribly, but you know, most of the time they'll just form a big old pile. If we're lucky, we'll get that banner of swiftness. Obviously, I'm not going to equip it, but it is my favorite banner. I would chuck it on probably Kholek so that he takes off quickly, makes him a lot faster. Or when and for capping, it will actually help him a lot. It gives you a 20% increase in the acceleration increase and decrease is the important part. Makes your units go from low speed to max speed very, very quickly. He didn't give it to us, he just gave us the obsidian lodestone, unfortunately. Take the replenishment, because why not? And that's the end of his army. Now we just need to take out Ironstorm in the capital, and he'll be vassalized. So we don't want to give him the capital, so what we'll do is we'll sack Ironstorm, and then we'll move on to the capital, occupy the capital, come back here and vassalize them at Ironstorm. That way, he won't have the building that we want, and we'll have a good vassal. We need to take care of those guys as well, potentially, because if they wipe them out, that'd be very unfortunate for us. So we got the increased range and magic drop chance increased by 40%. Nice. And the blue scribes want to be our friend. That's nice. Take that off. Ooh. Did I non-aggression with these guys? I did not. Right, so we're going to kill them. It's important that we get rid of them so that he doesn't end up wiping out Zartan. That'd be bad for us. I strongly recommend, if you can, just auto-resolve in these fights. Medium casualties does suck for us, but it will completely wipe them out and you won't have to fight them multiple times. You end up chasing them forever, so if you can wipe them out in one go, just do it. Take the like slight L on your units and just carry on. It's because we're also having to defeat the garrison here. Take the replenishment, and then we need to move on. We need to keep going past. So Ironstorm, because we killed the garrison and wiped everything out there, we can just move straight on past it. It's not going to block us. And we got rid of the concern. My concern there was that after we, damaged this and ran over to occupy the other settlement, those beastmen would have declared war on Zartan while he was super weak, and then they would have killed him. And that would have been it. There's nothing we could have done about it. So we keep moving. We're not replenishing, but we don't need replenishment for this last fight. Because as you guys may remember, capping is very easy to do in this game. Let's move down this line. We do want to get these two. So we'll unlock the whole line, we'll get them as demonic form. We got a few settlements down in Cathay, but I'm going to leave that, guys, up to your discretion on which direction you would like to go. There's two directions you can choose from. You can go into Cathay and Cap. There's a few Dark Fortress sites. Follow Dark Fortress sites. There's a few there that you can take care of. You're going to have to deal with Grimgor as well. Eventually, he is going to turn. And then also you can go north, and there's a bunch this way and a bunch of vassalizations that you can get done as well. So north is very profitable, both sides of this mountain range here, and then just following the northern ridge all the way across. There's a bunch of stuff up here as well, and then you can also obviously head into Troll Country here, into Kislev, and take their ones as well. Depends on how far you want to take this campaign, but I'm going to get you set up so that you have 4 Dark Fortress sites. Zartan wants peace. That will not happen. Sorry, buddy. Tell you what, I'll let you vassalize for money. How's that sound? Hopefully you remember how this works. Form up your melee line. They're in charge of tanking the shots initially. Cannon at the back, so you know how far you need to retreat, if it can reach. Oh, we got the increased range now, so it has 483 range now. If it can reach the walls, then you're close enough. We need... Realistically, I think Kholek's a better person to tank it initially. And this is how easy it is to win settlement battles. The only ones you got to worry about are enemies with fast units. If it's a fast unit that isn't very good against large units, then you're not going to have a problem because these guys will just steamroll them. But yeah, if there's fast units, you do have to be a bit more cautious when you do this tactic. But generally speaking, most settlement layouts, especially in this campaign, not going to be an issue. You're going to be able to steamroll it. So when you get to the Elven settlements and the Bretonian settlements, that could be a little bit of a bitch. Alright. If anything interesting happens, I'll bring it back, but I'm pretty sure we're just going to be standing here until we win. Easy peasy. And that is Zartan the Black more or less dealt with. We might be able to trade him peace for vassalization. If we can, we will do that, because then we don't have to downgrade his settlement. Although when you give it to them, they get it fully repaired. And then we'll sell him all the minor settlements going backwards and maybe try and capture him a non-minor settlement. At the moment, though, they're all dark fortresses, and as you know, we don't share dark fortresses. Those are just for us. But generally, you can loot and occupy these because they're going to get downgraded and not have any buildings, because you can't use any of the buildings that they build. Kind of, it's a weird way that they deal with it. So, as you can see, that's all that's left. He doesn't want vassalization, so we're just going to go and attack him. Another one of these ones that is good to get. So every turn when you spend upkeep, you do start unlocking a bit more of the progress here. Another good one here is this vassal tribute increased by 100%. Can be quite nice. You can make a lot of money out of that, and also you want to get the artillery eventually. Yeah, those are the only ones I generally go for. Carnage Incarnate is a lot cheaper when you're playing as Kholek, so that's a good one. And you can get Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. They're nice big ogres. They're great. You can get 6 of them in the army, and they're pretty fun to doom stack with. Well, 6 of them. But I'd make sure you have a Nurgle mage with you, which has to be a Lord mage. Their Fleshly Abundance spell, Overcast, is unbelievably overpowered for healing, so good shit. Alright, let's end this turn. Don't forget to go in ambush stance. If we're lucky, he'll try to attack the Bloodwind Keep, and then we'll be able to smash him. If we're even luckier, he won't move at all, and if we're unlucky, he might attack our other settlement. We'll see what happens though. Alright, moving on. Alright, let's go. Grimgor just broke his non-aggression with me. That's not anything to be concerned about just yet. We'll be fine. So we got one fight here. We could auto-resolve it and lose our dogs, or we should fight it manually so we don't lose our dogs. Going by threats. Our threats here are just the archers. Piece of cake. Nothing here is a problem. These guys are pretty quick, but they're not going to be an issue. Alright, let's get them.
I am channeling Chaos Sorcerer. Has battled not before. Hammerstorm! Herald of the Tempest! Dead Slayer! I am living history! Weakling!
Let's find somewhere quiet to talk.
I am mountain god. Bring me to the storm!
As you can see, I've made my way down to the Dragon Gate. It currently belongs to the puppets of misrule. What we're going to do is we're going to join the war against them. What we'll do is we'll use the Imperial Wardens to start the war, so we can make a little bit of money off the Imperial. Village's vassal will join the war, but he's probably just going to go and attack our main settlement as opposed to attacking us. So he's not really a concern. So what we'll do is we'll sell some settlements to Zartan here, and then when we have enough points, allegiance points, we'll get him to defend our settlement.
Marauders all.
Weakling, you need...
Alright, let's make some money and get into a fight. So they'll give us a decent bit of money for this, which is good. We're going to end up killing them eventually, or vassalizing them preferably, before they get confederated by Mao Ying. And now we get to take out this single lord that they put in there, and maybe we'll find out where village is. Easy victory, just auto-resolve it. There's no need to fight that, you're not going to lose any units. Okay, cool, we found village. So he'll probably attack us over the end turn, but if he doesn't, and he goes to occupy something else, let him have it, take his dark fortress, and then come and vassalize him. So as you can see here, village has besieged us, and then on our turn he's stood his ground. So now we can auto-resolve and completely wipe out his entire army, which is a very good trade-off, and village will be out for 5 turns. We are going to take a lot of damage, but we're not going to lose any units. If we were to fight this manually, I would win, but the chances are most of these marauders would get away, almost all the chaos warriors would get away. Village is extremely hard to run down because of his regeneration. He has constant shield regeneration, which can be a little bit of a bitch to get through. So yeah, I think our best option here is auto-resolve this, take a bit of damage, not lose any units, and then move on to his main settlement. So there you go. We took a fair bit of damage there, but we can either replenish 7% or grab that money. That money's tempting, but we're going to take the replenishment. So because you can't vassalize other lords playing as Kholek, only as Archaon and Balagor, if you get a situation like this, what you should do is sack that settlement, go and occupy their dark fortress, and then come back and vassalize them. Otherwise, you're going to have to do what I did in this campaign, which was to wipe them out so that I could take their settlement. But it's always good to have more vassals, so if it's an option, always try to vassalize. Village is dead, which is a massive advantage to us. And we get some melee defense. Isn't that a poke in the eye with a stick, I suppose? And these guys decided that that was the direction that they wanted to go. I think that's a really bad decision by them. And we can take this opportunity to capture their settlement if we like. It's not a bad opportunity, but I think we'll be better off if we just carried on and went for their capital. Our problem is we're going to have no replenishment, so we will take the settlement. Otherwise, we're going to have to delay a turn. So we'll take the settlement, and then we'll move on. The only concern is that they might attack us over the end turn now. Right, we have to fight this manually, otherwise we're going to lose some units, which obviously is not a good trade. I don't want to lose my pooches. Let's go. I trust you guys won't struggle with this fight, so I'm not going to record it. Basic stuff, charge everything in, all the big boys, or even just Kholek and the mage. They could pretty much just solo this, I reckon. The mage will be able to kill everything here. The Hell Cannon, target the horses. Problem solved. What I recommend you do at the Bloodwind Keep here, just to, you know, defend it a little bit better. We'll grab ourselves a Chaos Lord. It doesn't really matter. Melee defense is nice. Chuck him in there. Got some money back too, which is nice. And we'll recruit some units. So, just whatever you can get your hands on, really. You just need to hold the line here. Like, these are my options, but whatever you can get. So, he's either going to attack this or he's going to come back and he's going to attack Kholek. So, we've got a very good situation here. They decided that they want to attack my settlement here. They sieged it with their, this guy here, and now the puppets of Misrule are kind of just hanging out. So we need to get to their capital very, very quickly. So to do that, we're going to force march our way over there. They might be able to reach us, but I think we're going to get there first. We basically need to defeat this settlement before they destroy our settlement here, which I think is going to be a piece of cake. So that's the only army that they've sent out there. We can use Zartan, so we have the ability to command Zartan to do something now. So what we could do is we can get him to come back here and defend the Dragon Crossroad, or we can just get him, we can just sell it to him, which I think is the better option. To sell him the Dragon Crossroad, that way he will defend it. Zartan's got a few settlements, which is good, and we can start moving. Next turn we're going to get our Eye of Chaos, and we're 2 turns away from this. So as long as this settlement can hold, I think we'll be fine. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to hold it very comfortably. So let's move on. They might come after us. They might be like, oh shit, they're going to attack our settlement. It's going to be too late by the time we hit it. All we need to do is defeat this settlement and he will be confederated. So let's get that underway. Make sure we've done all our diplomacy before you finish up. And yeah, moving on. So I got quite lucky here in the sense that I actually win the auto resolve here. Fighting these settlements is not too bad. You want to essentially just defend the back settlement or jump on the walls and do some damage, but usually you'll get auto resolves that are pretty easy. We just need this army to last, so what we do is we auto resolve that, take the money because the replenishment sucked, they'll back off, they'll re-siege it next turn, or maybe the other faction will, but no matter what, it's going to take them 2 turns now to attack it, and by then we will have won. Well, we will have taken their settlement, so we can get as close as possible now. We should be reasonably close, within, you know, 1 more turn of attack. They'll siege it over the end turn. We'll do what we can to recruit some units in there. Keep it protected. If you have any gifted units, you can pick them up if you want. Just get what you can. Level up the Lord so that he's, you know, making Vanguard Chaos units stronger so they can, you know, hold the line a little bit longer. So there is a chance that you will lose this settlement to them. If you do lose that settlement to them, it's fine. You can just chase them down and take it back. But we got lucky in this campaign. Turn 25, we will have vassalized these guys by winning this fight. It's the same as every other fight that we do. You know, we just run around the back. The only concern here is they got a couple of fast units, but they're super weak. They're just Marauder Horsemen, so our fast units will absolutely decimate them. Now that we got Ari here, we can win this very easily. So I'll bring you back if anything interesting happens, but otherwise this will be an easy win for us. So we are not going to subjugate him. We're actually just going to vassalize the other faction. We want to get rid of him because we need this Dark Fortress. So let's do that. Cool. So they got the 1 army left, but now this is our vassal here. And we should be able to sally out and defeat them quite comfortably, I would say. Decisive victory. Got our allies here. Wonderful. Boop. They are dead. And that is the end of the Puppets of Misrule. So now we have a strong vassal, we have all of these keeps, and we have choices to make. So this is where I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You could form up some armies and fight to the south here. They are going to declare war on us eventually. I don't know when, but they will definitely do it. There's quite a few enemies to fight, but there are some good benefits, especially if you just take these northern provinces and make some allies with the Blessed Dread or the Rats. You're also going to have to deal with Grimgor at some point. He is slowly turning against us, but it's going to take time. And you can start up another army here and go north with it. It's up to you. Unfortunately, you can't confederate unless you're playing as Balakor or Archaon, so yeah, that's unfortunate. But we got some strong allies and we can start some other armies now. You can have a look at what's available in the regions, so we can get some melee units, some other stuff here. And you can check that in all the regions available. Go through and pick up a decent army and then head north. You can get your hands on a doom stack of aspiring champions, then you can win pretty much any fight, especially later when you upgrade everything. But yep, with that, we're going to come to the end of the guide. You're in a strong position. You got a lot of Dark Fortress sites, which is very important for Warriors of Chaos. Holding 4 of them right now, you can afford a second army easily, very comfortably. Have 2 armies on battlefield, maybe even 3 if you keep them cheap and move 2 together, and then try and get large units in Kholek's army. But yeah, the world is your oyster. This is a great starting position. I'd say go north, take all this stuff, and just patrol this wall for now until you can afford to really dive in and take them out. So what you could do is you could put an army inside the Dragon Gate here, although I gave it away. You don't have to give it away. Or you could aggress out and, you know, take out this guy. He's only got 3 settlements left, and he's also in trouble with the rats. So you could ask the Blessed Dread if they'd like you to join that war. Get the Blessed Dread on your side a little bit. Occupy all 3 settlements and sell the rest to the Blessed Dread for a defensive alliance. Just make sure you keep those Dark Fortresses always, because Dark Fortresses are good. This one also has a unique building, so you got to catch them all. That's always good fun. But yeah, it's up to you. Pots are also very good because they increase your income by 5%. Faction wide, just a flat 5% increase in money coming in. Well, favor coming in. But yeah, I hope this guide helps someone or anyone. I think I'll do an Empire guide soon, because I feel like that's where most people struggle at the moment. They have a hard time with the Empire. I'm one of the people that has a hard time with the Empire. I don't trust melee units, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully this is concise enough and easy enough to follow. I know I mumble on a bit, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next little guide. Come and catch me live streaming as well. I stream very frequently, 6 days a week. At the moment, though, I'm focusing on recording and expanding, so slightly shorter streams, but come and hang out. All right, catch you later. Bye.